qualified retired law enforcement officer. And it kind of bothers me that it's okay if you're a retired qualified law enforcement officer, you're exempt from all these. And I kind of thought the whole issue of once you've served, you go home, you become a citizen again, and you're subject to the laws of the rest of the citizenry. The other issue is that, quite honestly, Andrew's boss, as he calls him, rolled out these proposals almost 2 months ago and said he'd have them all out so we could look at them, talk about them, and you know, kind of understand what's going on. And as of today, we've just received the first or the second unnumbered one finally available for public view. I got it 3 days ago because my state senator thought we ought to have it for this debate. And some of the issues on that I think are interesting, is that's where I started to see this qualified law enforcement officer. And nothing against the law enforcement guys. It's just that why are they being treated differently? And I think that's the whole thing, equal and fair under the law. The whole thing here, I think, is right, to save lives. But none of this is going to work for one simple reason. Criminals don't obey laws now. And if you want to think about it, there's 11 pages. This is what Delaware submits every year to the ATF. This is where all the laws are codified, what currently Delaware has to enforce. Most of these are already in there. Ironically, if you read the paper or watch the news, one of the first things that a criminal does when he's caught with a weapon, as Anthony pointed out, is they plea bargain that away. If we just enforced what we've got and made it so reprehensible to commit a crime with a gun, we would be going after the right things. And I'm not a lawyer, by the way, but I love this little thing, is that we've got this ability that under our justice system, we would rather let 100 criminals go free than to jail one innocent person. In my mind, I look at this as we're going to take all the innocent law-abiding people, criminalize them in the hopes that we might catch one. That's not a very good way to do it, and it goes against our entire Constitution. And when we come to limits, why do we have speed limits, but cars can go 200 miles an hour if you own a fancy sports car? Why don't we just limit all cars? Because if you start looking at the deaths that are caused, and that's what this is, it's about saving lives. The #1 killer is tobacco, over 500,000 people a year. Guns is the bottom of the list if you look at that chart. There's a lot of other things that happen every day that cause more death and injury than guns in the hands of proper, consistent, honest citizens. Alcohol abuse, motor vehicle, poisoning, drug abuse. We have laws against drugs too, but that doesn't seem to be working too well either. The things I see is that it's nice to have this touchy-feely thing about we're going to try to do something, but let's do it right. Let's not put something in that's going to infringe upon law-abiding citizens and those that are not criminals. And I like to hunt. I like to fish. I have a large capacity magazine. I have an AR, which doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite, the original maker of that. Today in the paper, which I thought was also interesting, is the News Journal finally came out with a story about Adam Lanza and what he did, his methodical way. This guy planned for years. For years. If you haven't seen it, it's in the paper today on a sidebar. It's very amazing to see that. Go read that. Go online. You don't have to pay for the paper. You can go online and look at it free. Get 5 articles. Look at that and see what this kid did. He wanted to kill as many people as possible, and he wanted to be on the top of the list of all-time killers. It wouldn't have mattered if we had guns. He would have used knives. He would have done what Timothy McVeigh did. You don't need guns to kill lots of people. So, thank you.